Yo, what is good, everybody? What is popping, y'all? My name is James, aka your boy Jonesy, and welcome to Growth Spurt, my video podcast series where I talk about different experiences that I've gone through in my life in the hopes that you may be able to learn or realize something about yourself that you can then take and apply to your everyday personal and professional life. One thing you may not know about me is I am an esports coach. And as an esports coach, one of the biggest questions, if not the biggest question that I get, is what is esports? Now, I get this question because there's a stigma that video games are bad and will rot your brain and all this other crazy stuff. And the stigma exists because people who play video games have been stereotyped as being very sloppy, lazy, and just overall unmotivated. Without moderation, that's very easy to understand. Video games, can be extremely unhealthy without moderation, but so can drinking too much water, and that is literally something that we need every single day. So the problem is not so much that video games can be unhealthy. The real danger here is that esports and gaming are two very different things that serve two different purposes. And yet a lot of people, including professional players and coaches, still refer to the two as being very synonymous with one another, because esports and the whole industry of esports is drastically booming right now. And as it continues to grow, it becomes more important for us to distinguish what exactly that difference is. So, esports versus gaming, let's talk about it. When you hear the word esports, you may think of, like a zombie kind of slouched in the chair, drowning in a sludge bomb of Cheetos and whatever crumbs. Even though that metaphor is a little extreme, there is some validity to it. Gaming is a very casual activity. There's not really any purpose to it outside of just entertainment. It's the same thing as sitting down and watching your favorite Netflix episode of what do you guys watch? Virgin Banks or Virgin Banks? It's the same thing as watching your favorite episode of Virgin River or Outer Banks. Esports, on the other hand, is not only competitive, but it's also very professional. They compete in tournaments year-round for large amounts of money. Thousands of people come to watch these people, right? There are actual scholarship opportunities available for people in esports, young athletes. Lives can be changed just from receiving that money, right? Not even just that, coaching opportunities like what I do for my job. These are all available opportunities in esports right now. And it's crazy right now because it's still in its infancy. Here is where the lines really get blurred. A lot of games, especially big titles like Fortnite, Overwatch, Rocket League, they're all cross-platform. Cross-platform meaning that no matter what you're playing on PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, you can compete if you want to. You can play these games. Now, this is great because it makes esports way more accessible and easier to participate in, but it also makes it way easier to confuse with gaming. For example, let's take the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is the most popular gaming device for children. So imagine if maybe you're a 10-year-old kid and you tell yourself, hey, I want to be a professional Rocket League player. So you grab your Switch and you're sitting down and you're doing your thing, right? And your mom walks in and sees you just playing games and she thinks, oh, my kid is just playing. You need to go outside. Or what if you're a college student? You're on your team's esports team and you're dedicating all this time into practicing. But it gets to the point where you're dedicating so much time practicing and so much time grinding the sticks, as it were, that you're not really getting anything. You're just kind of sitting there and your brain is mush at that point. And let's not even forget the people who want to just casually game. A common complaint nowadays is that people view games as being too sweaty. Sweat just being you're really good at the game, right? Oh my God, I got 25 kills at the game. You're a sweat. And that's a different conversation that we can get into, but it's still something that's worth bringing up. So with all these different things, you can see how and why these lines are getting so blurred. Now, I don't think that we unblur these lines by just saying esports and gaming are two different things and that must be respected. That's not going to work. It's easier said than done. We already know this. I think that instead we unblur these lines by practicing mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness, when I say that, I mean, take me for example. I am a coach. I'm not that great. I became an esports coach randomly because I've been working at the place that I work at for 8, 9 years or something like that, and they heard that I played Rocket League and that I was decent at the game, and they're like, hey James, do you want to be a Rocket League coach? And I was like, sure, that sounds like a lot of fun. And so I did. I don't have the same experience in esports as other people do. I don't have the same experience as some of my other fellow coaches do. So therefore I have to dedicate a little extra time at actually getting better at the game. So for me, because of the way that my work schedule works, I usually find myself with about 2 to 3 hours every other day, like right in the middle of my day. That's usually my time for stuff like going to the gym or working on stuff for my Twitch stream and stuff like that, or just YouTube in general. But that's also my time to grind the game. That's my time to actually practice. During that time, that is my time to sit down, practice actual specific skills, go through the training packs, play the game, watch my replays, actually learn from my gameplay. If we're able to start structuring our time more like that, and I'm not saying that you have to,
I'm an esports player and I want to get good, so I have to sit here and I have to practice the game for infinity hours and I have to be very and write down every single little.
No, that's not at all what I'm saying. But we have to make sure that we're identifying what that time actually is and where it starts. We do that by changing our vocabulary. So instead of saying, hey, I'm about to sit down and have a gaming session, instead, hey, I'm gonna sit here and actually train. Just like going to the gym. I don't go to the gym and say, yep, I'm gonna go pick up a couple weights or something like that. No, I'm going to work out. I'm going to train. So we should take that same knowledge and apply that to esports. Now with gamers, you don't really have to change anything because you're not really working towards anything. That's another difference between esports and gaming. You're typically working towards something very specific with esports. Not to say that you're not working towards anything with gaming, because there's achievements and stuff like that. You are trying to beat the game. That is an objective, but it's not as urgent as esports is. Being very particular with the vocabulary that we're using, but when it comes to our specific training sessions, I'm going to train my esport. I'm going to train getting better at my shooting. I'm going to train getting better at my recoil or whatever it is. I don't play FPS games, but you get the gist. Ultimately, I can't really tell you what you specifically have to do in order to unblur these lines for yourself. Ultimately, you decide that. I think that one thing that you can definitely do is change your environment. I'm not saying you completely rearrange your room or something like that, but perhaps sitting down in a room filled with RGB in a dark space is just maybe not the most suitable environment. Maybe setting up some sort of routine for yourself like I was setting earlier. Something that allows you to build that muscle memory that ultimately will serve you well if that is something that you're actually pursuing. If esports is something that you really want to do, if getting better at one particular video game or any particular video game is your goal. This, I think, is the first step towards all of us eventually unblurring the line between esports and gaming, and hopefully maybe making the world a little bit better place in the process. That being said, y'all, thank you for coming. That's my little blurb for today. I appreciate y'all being here. If you're watching over on YouTube, come check out some of the live streams sometime. We are live here on YouTube every Tuesday evening, every Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. US Central Time. Hope to see you here. It's been a minute since we last did a Growth Spurt, dude. It's literally, I think, like over a year now since the last time we did a Growth Spurt stream. So, and then freaking, yeah, Brandon, we're gonna try to hit champ, dude. We'll see what happens, dude. But hey, thank y'all again so much for being here, boys. I appreciate y'all. We'll see if we can get some dubs in, man.